Welcome, welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And today, well, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon in England and 6 o'clock in India and 4 o'clock in Romania, is it? Yes, it's 4 o'clock in Romania and 2 o'clock in Morocco. That's the countries I know that are here. But so wherever you are, we're incredibly pleased to have as our guest today, Deepa Karan. And Deepa, I'm handing it over to you. We'll give a big round of applause. And Deepa, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. We have 45 minutes, right, John?
You have as long as you have, roughly. It doesn't have to be too exact. And we can stay and have a little talk afterwards if anyone's got any questions for you.
Oh, super. Sounds lovely. Okay, so that fits in well. Once again, audio check. Am I audible to everyone? You could give me a thumbs up. Cool. Okay, so lovely being here. Thank you, John, and thank you, everyone, wherever in the world you are. As Eckhart Tolle says, wherever we are, it is the present moment. A journey of presence, of love, of attention on the wings of words. Yeah, I'm Deepa Kiran from India, and delighted, honored to be with the rest of this lovely community of storytellers, story listeners. And I'd like to share today two stories. A little one is and this is of the Bhakti poet, the saint poet Mirabai from Western India, Rajasthan. The land of Rajasthan is known for its deserts, it's known for its beauty, and it's known for its hospitality. So let's travel to Rajasthan. Come, listen, everybody. Come, listen, everybody. Just for you, I have a story. Come, listen, everybody. Just for you, I have a story. Sometimes nice and sometimes scary. Sometimes nice and sometimes scary. Just for you, I have a story. Come, listen, everybody. Just for you, I have a story. And this story from Rajasthan of little Mirabai. Mirabai was a princess. She loved to sing and dance, and one day, with her mother, from the second floor of their palace, they were watching a marriage procession go by. You must have heard of the grand Indian weddings, and so this was one too. A grand horse, the bridegroom sitting on it with a turban and with flowers on his head. And Mirabai was very curious. She turned to her mother and asked, Amma, who is this? What is this? And her mother said, that's a marriage procession, my dear, and that's the bridegroom. Innocent little Meera asked her mother, who will be my bridegroom? And her mother said, Krishna, Lord Krishna, just to humor the child. But the little child, who already loved Lord Krishna, turned to her mother in excitement and said, what? Krishna, the little butter-eating Krishna, the Krishna who danced on Kalia the snake, the Krishna who killed Kamsa the demon, the Krishna who would play with his beloved Radha. And her mother said, yes, my dear, that Krishna, he will be your bridegroom. And Meera's joy knew no end. It just so happened that a visiting guest gifted Mirabai a small idol of Lord Krishna. She would sit and sing and dance and play songs for Krishna. Kam samardhan Kaliyanardhan Radha Lolayali Krishna Nanda Kumara Ayali Krishna Navita Chora Ayali. She spent all her time in front of this idol. The little Mirabai grew to be older, but the love of Krishna did not leave her heart. In fact, it grew stronger, so much that everyone around began to worry. Meera, come, let's go. But Meera would say, I'll come later. She would sit at the feet of her idol. Hey Govind, hey Gopal, hey Govind, hey Gopal. And whenever people called her, she was so busy that they thought the best place to find Meera is besides Krishna. In fact, a little temple was constructed, and they say that people would check their time and visit the temple exactly when Meera visited, because they would get to see her worship her Krishna. And her idea of worship was not prayers in Sanskrit and Pali. It was not rituals. It was song and dance. Khai 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 bol sunawa, khai 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 bol sunawa, mara sara dil chali. Khai khai bol sunawa, khai 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 bol sunawa. Meera prayed with her music and her dance. She married. Married. Krishna is my groom. Enough of that, Meera. Everyone chided her. In her heart, she could accept no one else, but Meera was soon married away. She was married to a king who realized that all Meera wanted was to be with Krishna. He did give her space to worship Krishna, to spend time there, and Meera was back to her prayers. But how long? Soon, the family began to expect Meera to be there for home, to be there for other commitments. They found ways to complain about.
Please, madam.
There was nothing to complain. Meera was never one to take offense to anything or be upset with anybody. They began threatening her. Enough, Meera. No more going to the temple. That did not stop her. Meera, we are going to take strict action now. That did not stop her. They found different ways, and the story goes that once they added poison in her porridge. Not one to complain. Meera took everything that came as a gift from Lord Krishna. Meera drank the poison. मानो अमृत पिया मेरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा गली लगन. It is believed that just because Meera's faith, when she drank the poison, happened to her. She was absolutely fine. But many episodes like this continued in her life. And finally, in India, 500 years ago, a woman a princess, left her home. She left her home to go all the way to the beautiful land of Vrindavan. The rest of her life, Meera spent in her truest purpose, the worship of Lord Krishna and spreading the word of universal love. Till today, Meera is loved and valued for her faith in Krishna and is remembered along with Krishna. And just like Mirabai, India has many, many women in various spheres who have lived a life of purpose, a life of interdependence, a life supported by the community, following their hearts, whether it was the Telugu poetess, Mulla, or it was the scientist, Gargi, or the mathematician, Leelavati. We have umpteen number of examples, freedom fighters, dancers, musicians, from different professions who pursued their hearts and were supported by the beauty of the community. And today, as I present this session, I am here with a wonderful community of women who are following their purpose and community that is contributing to society, and the Mirabai story is a tribute to them. Thank you so much. And with this story, we go to another fun tale of a woman who was certainly not single. A very, very, very much married woman. And let me tell you her story. So listen, everybody. Listen, listen, everybody. Just for you, I have a story. Listen, listen, everybody. Just for you, I have a story. A story of Subbamma. That was her name. So once upon a time, in a small little village in India, in the place that is called Andhra Pradesh today, there lived an old lady, and her name was Subbamma. Now, Subbamma was much married, and the old lady had an older husband. They had a lovely life. They had children, the children were settled. Her husband provided what he had to. She took care in whatever way she had to. But Subbamma had one complaint. She had one complaint about her husband. No, he did not snore at night. That was not her complaint. He was not bald either. That was not her complaint. He was not lazy. He worked hard. That was not her complaint. But her complaint was this old husband of hers. You know, he had no understanding, no appreciation of art, of beauty, of culture like all of you. Storytelling, he didn't understand. Music, If his wife sang, could you stop talking with your friend? I'm not talking, I'm singing. And she made beautiful designs on the floor with rice, which all the women made. Her husband would walk with his slippers right over it, not even seeing the beauty of her work. No appreciation of art and aesthetics. That was Subbamma's complaint. How I wish my husband could appreciate music and dance and drama and such beauties in life. And one day, an opportunity came. There was an announcement in the village. Listen, listen, everybody. Goran Nagaru is coming to town. Be prepared. He is going to be in the village for 1 week. Goran Nagaru, the storyteller, is coming to town. She said, oh my God, so for those of you who don't know, Goran Nagaru is like Shah Rukh Khan. Goran Nagaru is like Angelina Jolie. Goran Nagaru is like, who are the latest? Brad Pitt, yeah. Uh, Goran Nagaru was a top-notch rock star storyteller. Every village loved his storytelling. He would reach the village in the morning, and the next 1 week, every night, in the village temple, under the beautiful banyan tree, Goran Nagaru would narrate stories, and everyone in the village waited for it. So Subbamma said, husband dear, you have to go and listen. I will prepare early dinner for you, huh? Husband was not at all interested. Okay. So quickly, wife prepared dinner at 6:30, served him and said, go on time, huh? It starts at 8 o'clock. So well before time, the husband set off from home, not at all interested in the storytelling. And as he was going, he stopped to chat with his friends. Yes, that's it. Oh, and then he rushed. But he was too late. The stage was set. The lamp had been lit. Goran Nagaru was there on the temple stage. The villagers had filled up the space. The audience was all ready. And our Goran, our man, the old man, he found a nice pillar. He found a nice pillar. He settled down right behind the crowd. And Goran Nagaru started his story. The story of one of the most famous epics, Ramayana. And everyone in the audience was listening. Goran Nagaru started with all his grandeur. Shuddha Brahma Paratpara Ram, Kalatmaka Parameshwara Ram, Sheshatalpa Sukhanidhita Ram, Brahmadhyamara Pratita Ram, Chanda Kirana Kula Mandana Ram, Srimad Dasharatha Nandana Ram, Kausalya Sukhavardhana Ram, Vishwamitra Priyadhana Ram. And the audience was going. But our old man, he was fast asleep by the pillar. He did not even listen when the storyteller narrated how the Prince Rama and his brother Lakshmana went to protect the yagna, the prayers of the sages. The sages were praying, and Rama and Lakshmana were guarding with their bow and arrow, watching out for any demons that would come and disturb the prayers. And the prayer went on. Om Pushpam Veda Pushpavan Pajavan Pashpuman Bhavati Evam Veda. And Rama and Lakshmana were guarding. And the arrow went piercing right into the heart of Maricha the demon. The prayers were successfully completed. The sages were very thankful to Rama and Lakshmana, said the storyteller. And the sages took them not back home, but to the land of King Janaka, where the beautiful princess Sita was going to choose her husband. Many suitors had come and everyone tried to pick up the special bow, but nobody could even move it an inch. Many people tried and gave up. But the Prince Rama went there, picked up the Shivadhanush, and he won the hand of Sita in marriage. Sita and Rama were married, and the newlyweds returned home to the land of Ayodhya, announced Goran Nagaru. And everyone in Ayodhya was singing and dancing and celebrating Rama and Sita. Anandam, anandam, anandame, anandam, anandam, anandame, anandam, anandam, anandame. Anandam, joy. There was so much joy and celebration. And Gorandagaru turned to the villagers and said, did they have a happy life? How was the married life of the newlyweds? Tomorrow, went away. Now, the villagers also left, and one lady was distributing a sweet laddu. For those of you who are not from India, if you have not eaten laddu, make sure you certainly eat it. Laddu, the delicious sweet, was being distributed to everyone, and this lady saw an old man sleeping by the pillar. So she put one round laddu in his mouth. So he woke up and he went home and he knocked, tuck, 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 tuck. The wife was waiting. How was it? How was the Ramayana? How was storytelling? Sweet, the old man said. And the wife said, sweet? Oh yeah. Rama and Sita, they get married. Everybody is so happy and celebrating. It is sweet. Wow. You watched the storytelling and you found it sweet. How nice. I'm sending you again, huh? Again, the old man. Okay. Once again, wait. 6:30. On time and walk slowly. Stopped. Met his friends on it. Once again he was late. Once again he rushed. And once again, on night 2, the stage was set, the storyteller was about to start, the audience was completely settled, and our old man went right behind in the crowd, sat beside the pillar, settled quite well, and went to sleep. You see, one little girl who was a big fan of Goran Nagaru, she came late that day, and the whole place was full, so she couldn't get a proper view. She was wondering what to do, and she saw this old man by the pillar. So she climbed onto his shoulders and she sat there. She got a box view. So she settled there and watched Goran Nagaru, Night 2, narrate the story of the Ramayana. Well, what follows, my dear people, is a very sad story. The newlyweds, Rama and Sita, did not get to enjoy the palace. No, they did not. They had to go away to the jungle in exile. They had to go away for 14 years. Rama and Sita left, and along with them, Rama's brother Lakshmana also left. Goranagaru narrated. But none of them complained that they lost the luxuries of the palace. They ate fruits and roots in the hut in the jungle. However, after a few years, one Rama's wife Sita was sitting outside the hut when she saw the most a deer with golden skin, glowing bright and jumping around. She watched the deer. She went out to reach it, but the deer escaped. She was stubborn, as she never is. I want that deer. I want that deer, she insisted. Rama tried hard to explain, but Sita insisted. Her heart became heavy. And so, Bhagwan, yeah, I think there's some disturbance. Could you just check if you're muted? I think someone's sound is echoing. Could you please check? Yeah, thank you. Rama left just to bring a smile back to Sita's face, but not without asking his brother to stay behind. Goran Nagaru narrated how the brother-in-law Lakshmana was taking care of Sita. They were safe within the hut when suddenly they heard shouts of help. It was Rama's voice saying, "Help! Help!" And Lakshmana was sure this could not be Rama. It must be an illusion. But Sita was worried. She insisted Lakshmana leave. He drew a line of protection around her and he left. Do not step out of this line, of this circle, he warned her. As soon as Lakshmana was gone, a strange mendicant came by. An old man came outside the hut and said, Mata Bhiksham De. An old man was asking Sita for alms. Sita went in, brought some fruits, and from inside her hut, she gave it to the mendicant when he said, "Oh, what disrespect! How dare you? How dare you give me fruits from inside the house? Step out. Respectfully give me the fruits." Confused, not knowing what to do, Sita put one foot out of the line, and just as she stepped out, that beggar turned out to be no beggar, no mendicant, but the ten-headed demon, Ravana, the king of the golden land of Lanka. Before Sita knew it, she was taken by Ravana, pulled into his chariot, and they went flying away without ticket, visa, and passport. No sooner were they gone when Rama and Lakshmana came back, and they could not find Sita anywhere. Sita! Sita! Sita, my Sita, where are you? Rama was searching and searching. Did Rama and Lakshmana find Sita? Goran Nagaru, the storyteller, asked the villagers. Were they able to locate Sita? I will tell you tomorrow. And he left. Once he left, all of the audience got up and they left as well. The little girl jumped off the old man's shoulders and she left, and that woke him up. He woke up with severe pain in his shoulders. And he went back home. And knocked at the door, tuck, tuck, tuck. How was it? How was the Ramayana? How was the storytelling? And the old man said, heavy. I said, what? Heavy? Oh yeah. Sita and Rama had to go away to the jungle in exile. It was so sad that the heart becomes heavy. Oh my God. You watched the storytelling and you understood it and you're using metaphors to express. Wow. You must go again tonight, huh? Okay. The old man nodded his head. The wife cooked the meal very quickly again. He ate it quickly and he went slow. chatted with his friends here and there. Once again, he was late. He rushed. The place was full. The stage was set. Under the banyan tree, Goran Nagaru was about to start his story, and this time, our old man didn't even bother to sit near the pillar. He went right next to the pillar and flat on the ground, he fell asleep. Back on stage, Goran Nagaru continued the story of Ramayana. My dear friends, Rama and Lakshmana, they went searching for Sita. They went here, they went there, they went everywhere, and they heard a voice. They heard a voice that was singing with much devotion and love songs of Rama himself. Ipirugananu dayajujeda poinavam sotamarama natarama bhavasagaramiru nalinadali chanarama Sri Raghunandana Sitaramana Sritajana Poshaka Rama Karunyalaya Bhakta Varadanido Kannadikalu Rama and Lakshmana were curious. Who was this? And they found there a monkey whose name was Hanuman, the greatest devotee of Lord Rama. As the monkey sat there, and when he opened his eyes, he realized that the one he had been praying to in his heart was now there in front of him. Hanuman fell at the feet of Lord Rama and said, "I am so blessed to see you." But he noticed that Rama was worried. Is there something I can do? Is there some problem? Soon understanding the problem, Hanuman offered to help. He called the entire army of the Vanaras, the monkeys. All the monkeys came jumping quickly. They were right there. First, Rama helped the king of the monkeys, Sugriva, fight and get back his kingdom. And then they went around finding out about Sita. They came to know a very important piece of information. Sita had been taken all the way across the ocean to the land of Lanka. And now the plan had to be made to reach across the ocean to the land of Lanka. Could they go to Lanka? What did they eventually do? I will tell you tomorrow, said Goran Nagaru, the storyteller, and he was gone. And so were all the people. All the villagers got up. The sun began to come up. Nobody was there to give a laddu or any sweet today. There was no girl sitting on his shoulder. So the old man was still sleeping beside the pillar. Everybody went back home to their work. The animals also woke up. A little dog woke up and came trotting near the pillar. It put one leg up and right on the old man's face. A nice, salty, wet wake-up alarm. And the old man he woke up and he went back home. And he knocked. Tuck, 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 tuck. And wife opened the door. How was it? How was the Ramayana? How was the storytelling? Salty, he said. What? How can a story be salty? How can storytelling be salty? And then the wife's suspicions arose. Have you been listening? Who is Sita's father? Huh? What is the name of the kingdom of Rama? What? Who kidnapped Sita? So you have not been listening. You've been making up stories. Tomorrow? No. This night, you and I are going together. So, night 4, by 6:30, wife came and she also had flowers in her hair, wore her latest sari, and she held her husband's hand tight, just like you would hold a child when you go to the fair. And together they went. And they went really fast. They were super punctual, like all these lovely women here. And they had reached 15 minutes before time. Front row. First seat. Subama and old man. And Gaurav Nagaru, the storyteller, entered. He came there and he started saying, so what happened to Rama? What happened to Sita? Let me tell you, friends. Let me tell you now. Don't worry. Don't be sad. Because now there's a plan. Rama said,
Why?
someone has to cross. Go to Lanka. Find out about Sita's well-being. Come back with the information. And then we can start the plan of action. Yes, Hanuman said. Somebody has to go. Me? Yes, Hanuman. You. Hanuman was one of those people who had immense strength and wisdom and power, but never knew how strong he was. It was always someone else who had to show it to him. So when Rama told him that it's you and you can do it, as Rama's words left his lips, Hanuman found the strength and soon he grew as large as a mountain. And in that size, Hanuman was ready to fly across the ocean to find out about Sita Mata. And fly he did. लपट कराल ज्वाल जान माल गम विषि धूम अकुलाने पहचाने कौन काहि रे पानी को ललाट दिन लाट करे बाट झाट माई था. As he was about to reach the other side, midway in the ocean, suddenly a strange creature came out. And she blocked his way. She was Surasa, the sea monster. Surasa opened her mouth wide. And she said, Hanuman, you cannot pass through without first going into my mouth. And she kept her mouth wide open. Hanuman, in a fraction of a second, he became as small as a little bee. He buzzed into Surasa's mouth. He came out and became big again and said, Surasa Mata, I have followed your instructions. She was so amused that she started to laugh. I give you my blessings, child. May you go safely to Lanka on your mission. And Surasa went back into the ocean. Hanuman continued right across. Lapatakaral jwal mal dam rishi dum pakulane. he reached the land of Lanka. He could see the golden land, the gates of the fort opening, and he first went to watch the king, Ravana, Lankadipati, Ravana. Ravana, the Shiva Bhakta, the devotee of Lord Shiva, who was saying his morning prayers. Om Shivoham, Om Shivoham, Rudranamam Bhajeham, Bhajeham. Mighty man he is, Hanuman thought. And he continued going and looking for Sita Mata. He looked in the palace. He looked in all the beautiful spaces, but finally, she was there in the Ashokavanam, the tree of Ashokas, the garden of the tree of Ashokas. There was Sita Mata, sitting quiet, waiting. Hanuman saw Sita Mata. He was so glad to be a messenger, to go and speak to Sita Mata, to reassure her that all is fine, all is safe, Rama is coming. And Hanuman turned to take out the ring. Lord Rama had given his finger ring as proof that Hanuman is truly his messenger. Gorinagadu said, Hanuman turned and he was looking for the ring, but Hanuman could not find the ring. Hanuman could not find the ring. Can anybody help? Can anybody help? Gorinagadu asked the audience. Our old man was listening so keenly to the story. He was so worried for Hanuman. He wanted Hanuman to solve the problem. He took out his own gold ring and he threw it to Gorinagadu onto the stage and said, take it. And Gorinagadu took it. Thank you. This old man here, he is the true divine listener, I tell you all. He is a true divine listener. And our old woman, Subhama, was so happy because her husband had got culture. And the storyteller had got a gold ring. The storyteller quietly put it on his hand and continued the story of the success of the plan of how Hanuman went, and he was able to give the message of Rama, how he came back, how they built the bridge, and how finally Rama and Lakshmana went there, destroyed everybody, and how finally they all went back to Ayodhya with Rama and Lakshmana and Sita and Hanuman, and the people sang in joy. Ram Lakshmana Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki. Ram Lakshmana Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki. Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki. Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki. While the whole village smiled, enjoying Gorinagadu's story and bid goodbyes, one old woman had a very special smile, for she had found her husband. So that is the story called Sweet and Salty from Andhra Pradesh in India. Thank you very much.
John, unmute yourself.
Ah, there we go. Well, thank you, Deepa. That was amazing. I just said
Love your
everything and no
performance,
one could
ma'am.
hear me. And there was, but that was fantastic. What maybe we can increase when we put it in the archive so people can watch it on catch up. We can get the volume up a little bit. Yeah, but no problem. I put on earphones. It was perfectly fine. And but it was lovely. It was lovely, and you had a big audience, which was fantastic. Anyone who's watching on any other device, if they go to the cafe, if they want to put a donation in for Deepa, that would be even better because as all artists all over the world have been, it's been very difficult for artists to make a living recently. So I'm sure Deepa would appreciate a little donation in a hat. You'll find just below her name on the site. But that is amazing. And if anyone has got any questions for her. Or just to comment, unmute yourselves, everybody. We can't do that. You have to unmute yourselves. And then you can talk to. Hello, Luana.
Hi, Deepa ma'am. It was a nice story. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you.
When I'm storytelling in the open air in the sunshine, if it gets too hot, I'm very much occasionally like the old man and drift off in the middle of a story, go to sleep.
Just be careful where you sleep.
But the story's just going anyway. I stay awake for you. Okay. Right. And
Hi,
time to
Deepa,
talk.
Nandini here.
Hi, Nandini. Hi.
Yeah, I missed two things. I missed your ocean drum and Jatayu from the story.
Yeah.
Ocean drum, I really missed. The
Right.
story
Next
was
time.
fantastic. Story was fantastic. Suspense was for every day, day one, day two. The suspense created for the story was fantastic. I really, really loved it. Thanks a lot.
Glad, Nandini. Yeah. I think for me, the message in the story is the beauty of the art of listening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I love that way of a continuous story of a story within the story of the old man and his wife, and the, and within that a classic Rama story. Fantastic. Anyone else?
I wanted to mention that.
Wolfert's trying to unmute. I can see his finger.
Yeah, this was my first time. I was quite engrossed in the story. It was very interesting. And to see Deepa, of course, it was very well presented. A lot of expressions and a lot of use of like instruments were used inside to accompany her as she was listening. So good, very good. I was happy to be part of this storytelling.
Glad. Thank you very much.
And we specially put on this one at 2 o'clock because of it being in England, because of it being 6 o'clock in the evening in India. We don't want you to stay up all night to listen. And so if there's any other tellers who want to come on the cafe, if they just email us, I'll program them in, because we have tellers from all over the world. I think, Deepa, you must be about our fourth or fifth teller from India, I think. And everything's on archive, so you can go on, Wilfred. You can go on, and if you go onto the archive at the thing, you can catch people like Paranand and all those others.
Sure, sure.
All right. Luana, you're not. I've just got to speak to someone at Luana. I can see there. Are you a storyteller yourself? You'll have to unmute yourself to answer me.
Hi.
Thank you, John.
Unfortunately, I lost half of this story because my internet was unstable, but was loved to hear Deepa. It was amazing the way she's acting, telling this story.
And again, you can catch up with that. You can go onto the archive and catch up the pictures.
Yes, I'll do that.
Fantastic.
It was really nice. And now it's morning Brazil. It's 11 o'clock.
So we've had India, Brazil, Romania, England, and Morocco, which is not a bad spread at all.
Yes.
So we've got a few continents there. Does anyone else want to unmute themselves and say anything? In that case, another round of applause for Deepa. And Deepa, thank you very much. And thank you all for watching.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you. God bless.
Everyone.
Everyone, wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you.